Now, if you're anything like me, you're thinking, wow, fair answer.
Thank you.
I'm surprised they led the show with that.
What?
Well, we have someone. I'm just going to sit here and listen.
Well, but Nick, what?
Maybe I'll learn
do you have a
something.
question to ask me? I don't know. You're the leader of the show.
What
You
does
just
it say
say
about
what we
Jimmy
start
G?
with.
Nick insisted that we leave. Behind the curtain,
Thank you.
Nick insisted
Listen,
we
how much
talk
more
about
evidence do you need that Kyle Shanahan couldn't stand this guy? And that Kyle Shanahan, at every opportunity he has gotten, would like to move on from him, try someone else out, and now that the option is a 7th-round pick who has never started a game, and he's given a chance to talk about, how hard it's going to be and moving on from Jimmy and the big gulf. He's like, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, basically the same guy. Basically the same thing. And here's the thing. Even Jimmy's biggest defenders, of which I'm looking at 1.5.
Yeah.
Broussard and Wildes some of the time. Because Wildes, while I am
That is
Mr.
fair.
Consistency, Wildes at times, unfortunately, is Mr. Inconsistency when it comes to at least Jimmy Garoppolo.
when I am
Exactly.
consistent, so.
There you go. So I think even you guys would admit that for any other team, this would be devastation. End their Super Bowl hopes. Yet for the Niners, it's done nothing to them, at least according to Vegas. And Brew, I already know. I don't know. Hold on 1 second. Just wait a second.
Wazoo. All right, you don't know.
Hold on, just wait a second. Because you like to say, I've never said Jimmy G's an all-pro. So I'm not even going to talk about what would happen to the Chiefs or to the Bills or to the Bengals. I'm not going to do that. Right now, this moment, if Geno Smith went down and Drew Lock were the quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks, would people be writing them off in a way that they have not written off the Niners? Yes. If Ryan Tannehill, if Ryan Tannehill went down, Ryan Tannehill and Malik Willis was stepping in, who was in the same draft,
I know, but
He almost beat the Chiefs. Malik Willis.
So you would leave the Titans as contenders if Tannehill went down? I don't think so.
They'd probably be about where they are.
If Tua went down and Teddy Bridgewater, who has started games in this league, would we be writing off the Dolphins? If Dak went down and Cooper, who we saw come in, would we be writing? The answer is yes. All of those teams would be written off. Yet the Niners, who have the least proven quarterback of any of those guys, Brock Purdy, 7th-round pick this year. It's like, should be fine. That's all you need to know.
First of all, he didn't even say that. Are you done?
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to figure out where to begin. Wow.
What's all this
Where to
ammunition
begin?
that you have?
First, I gotta dress you down a little bit, Nick. This is shameful.
What's shameful?
This is shameful. Your disdain for Jimmy G knows no bounds. There's no limit to. You are a smart man. You don't always use your intelligence for good, but you are definitely a smart man.
What did I do?
You don't even have to be a smart man to see what Kyle Shanahan was saying.
Okay.
All he was saying is
that Jimmy G and Brock Purdy basically the same guy.
And Jimmy G's skill set, not the quality or the level of the skill set, but the skill set is much more similar than Jimmy G's and Trey Lance's. That's it.
Yeah.
Jimmy G and Brock Purdy got quick releases. Both accurate on the short, medium passes. Neither throws the long ball very well.
Agreed.
That's what he's
Singing my
saying.
song.
So you know what? The same playbook, for the most part, we have to take a little bit of it out because Brock doesn't have any experience.
Most notably the
but
run
the
out the back of the
same
end zone.
playbook we use
Brock
for Jimmy
refused to run that
G,
one.
we
Brock
will
was like,
be able
"Coach, I
to
won't do
use for Brock Purdy. That's it.
Was
And
that all
Trey
your ammo?
Lance,
Wait, what's
well,
the
no,
ammo?
that was
ammo
just,
up the
I
wazoo.
had to get that out. Trey Lance, of course, is a different skill set. Here's the other thing, because, any team lost their starting quarterback, they'd be done.
They'd be done.
Kaput. It's over. Let me take you back to 2015. We'll have the graphics at some point. 2015.
Oh,
wow.
it's right there.
Oh, a number 1 ranked defense, San Francisco, 2015, Denver. The quarterback gets hurt late in the season.
Great.
Brock Purdy steps in. Another Brock. Brock Osweiler stepped in.
What?
And then the starter comes back late in the year, doesn't play great, doesn't put up huge numbers because he's coming back from the foot injury, and wins the Super Bowl.
Great.
Guess who that was? It was Peyton Manning.
What is that evidence of? I'm
That's
so confused.
evident. You
Historical
said
precedent.
yes, it's historical precedent, and you said if any other team lost its starting quarterback,
Any other team this year, you didn't have to go that far. We could have gone Carson Wentz to Nick Foles.
I'm not limited to just
then
the
actually use a
13
real
games they've already played
Then
or
you should
whatever.
have done Carson Wentz to Nick Foles because that one's ridiculous. First of all, Peyton.
I could have gone there too.
Was horrendous that year. He was
Did he win the Super Bowl?
Pause for a moment. He was 9 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, and he came back for the entirety of the playoff run. So it's,
Wildes, what am
it's
I
not
about?
At all
You're
similar.
about facts over. It's facts.
And
you're
wins.
like feelings and wins.
And
too.
wins.
Oh, facts and
He
wins.
won the Super Bowl.
Won
That's
the Super
great.
Bowl.
That's
part
great.
of his legacy.
Okay, was that the ammo you had?
Yeah,
I
that was
mean,
ammo.
that was
It was, too.
ammo. The first thing was ammo.
Yeah.
I don't even know what just happened.
There was ammo up the wazoo.
Okay.
Is what happened.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Trent Williams
Oh, this
also
will be
weighed in
fun.
on this.
What did he say? We really miss Jimmy. We
You
can't
would
replace
think
him.
Purdy has been in the league for 15 years. If you're talking, he'll say, "Shut your behind up." He's not a timid rookie feeling his way around. You would think he's like, here it is again, bro.
There it is.
Peyton Manning or something.
Okay.
I mean, I don't
So
know.
I've got a
Now
question
the
for
players
you guys.
agree with Bro.
No,
You're on a bad
This is
spot.
Brock Purdy being Peyton Manning, not Jimmy Garoppolo being
Oh,
Peyton
geez,
Manning.
how many guys
And
are
that
Peyton
one,
Manning?
in his,
Sorry.
Brock Purdy was Brock Osweiler. So I just have a question for you guys.
confused on how
What
many
is that?
people are
What is
Peyton
this
Manning.
about? That is a
I'm
quote
just
about.
waiting to see how you finagle your way out of this.
What do you mean? That's
Trent
a-
Williams has shot you down. I've shot you down. Wildes is on board.
Wait a second. Hold on. Do you know what that quote was about? That quote was about Brock Purdy. A complimentary quote about
You
Brock
don't think
Purdy.
he likes Jimmy G?
What?
They love Jimmy
Okay.
G in that locker room.
So that is what I hoped you would say. I have had to listen for the entirety of the very brief Trey Lance tenure.
I
The
never saw a
offseason?
quote like that about Trey Lance. Did you?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay,
Thank you,
so I
Brew,
gotta
for
hear
just
this.
continuing
Okay.
to walk into this. The entirety of Trey Lance's brief tenure, I heard as ammunition against him. That, why aren't any of his teammates talking about him? There's all these. Mike Silver once upon a time got a telegram that his arm was hurt.
Silver
and
was
because
all
of
over
that,
that.
Silver was not all over that, but
was.
neither here nor
Insider.
there. And now, Brock Purdy's been there 96 hours as the starter, and you have the single best player on the team saying, guy reminds me of one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. Which I normally would just call it pablum, just general teammates supporting teammates. But about 40% of your guys' Jimmy Garoppolo case has been built on the fact that George Kittle once wore a T-shirt with his face on it.
I like
You
that.
really like that.
Yeah, it's good.
You guys really
big.
like the fact that his teammates like him.
Do
So I
you
would
admit
imagine-
they do?
Of course
They
they
love
like
him.
him. Yeah,
Okay.
he makes all of them look better. So the question I would ask is, does this not further bolster the case that already the team feels like they can win with Brock Purdy, which leads you to believe they can win with any quarterback, which is how they have won with Jimmy Garoppolo? I'm just
Dusty,
curious.
get the graphic ready.
Wow, why?
I don't mean the 70% because
different
you keep mentioning that they can't win with anybody, or they can win with anybody, right? Brock Purdy, Nick Mullins.
No, not Nick Mullins.
C.J. Beathard.
Not C.J. Beathard.
Brian Hoyer.
But those were also a lot of
Those guys are better.
Brew.
They have better resumes than Brock Purdy.
Brew, but hold on. What if I told you that Jimmy G's record with Kyle Shanahan is almost identical, almost to the game, to Nick Bosa's record with Kyle Shanahan? And that Kyle Shanahan, hold on a second. And what if I told you that so many of those losses, because we know what it is, it's 9-29 with, I got it for you even though we don't have the graphic. It's 9-29 with any other quarterback, and I think 36-17 with Jimmy.
42-19, including playoffs.
Okay, 42-19 including
good.
playoffs. There you go.
Pretty good.
So that's what it is. The playoffs actually bring the winning percentage down a touch.
Some of the players are hurt. There's no doubt.
When
Bosa's
Jimmy was hurt,
here.
Bosa was
Well,
hurt,
not
and Kittle was
exactly.
hurt. And that first
Not
year,
exactly.
Bosa wasn't even on the team. The year that you always
Yeah,
talk
but
about.
they still had other good players.
And when they were 1-10,
When
they
were
really
1-10,
didn't have good players.
How do you win 5 straight?
They really didn't
then?
have good players.
How do you win 5 straight? But anyway, I forgot my train of thought.
That's
Where
all right.
was
We're
I?
going to move.
Okay.
That Jimmy G's awesome.
I think the quote, the Trent Williams quote, Brock Purdy might be a poor man's Jimmy G.
Yeah, and that's like Peyton Manning. So Jimmy G's like Peyton Manning.
There you go.
Moving on. Look ahead to the actual game. It's the 6-6 Bucs going to San Francisco. It's America's game of the week, by the way. 49ers are favored by 3.5. This is bizarre I'm even saying this against Brock Purdy. Nick, do you expect Brady to pull the upset off here?
No, of course not.
Wow.
No, I think
You have to figure out.
You like Tampa.
You're all over the map on
I'm
Brady
not.
now.
Right, I'm not sure.
You-
You like Tampa, Nick.
yeah.
You think they got a shot.
You want to do both our talk?
No, but you said that. I'm just repeating what you said.
No, I do think Tampa's a dangerous playoff team. I do not think Tampa has any shot in this football game. Those are two completely different circumstances. This game right here, how is Tampa going to score points? The answer is they're not. That Brady is not going to put his body in jeopardy when they are the division, now that Atlanta especially has gone to the rookie, essentially locked up against a pass rush and a defense that has annihilated everyone since the Chiefs hung 40 on them. The Niners have allowed 7 second-half points in the last 5 games they've played. That's 4 points per game in the second half over the last 5 games. So they're not going to be able to throw the ball, and they haven't been able to run the ball on anybody. So what is San Francisco to cover the 3.5? They probably need 17 points. That would probably cover the 3.5. So I think that this is an awful matchup for Tampa. I do think Tampa is a more dangerous first-round playoff opponent than, say, Minnesota for a list of reasons. But San Francisco's going to win their division and not going to. I'm not talking about Tampa versus San Francisco in round 1. And so, yeah, I do think Tampa's a dangerous playoff team. I also think they have no chance of beating San Francisco.
Finally, a nice take. How long we been on the show now? About 13 minutes. Nice take, Nick. I agree. Wildes, I think you disagree. You're saying, how in the world can Tom Brady not be favored over Brock Purdy? Here's how. Here's some of the quarterbacks Brady's lost to this year. Jacoby Brissett and the Cleveland Browns. And Brissett looks like a superstar compared to Brock Purdy. P.J. Walker. You like to call him Madam P.J. Walker.
Yeah.
And the Carolina Panthers. He's not even Mr. Irrelevant. At least Mr. Irrelevant got drafted. All right, P.J. Walker did. And Pittsburgh, both Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett, right? Both of them. All right, so Tampa's not going to win this game. I will say this, Nick. If Brady somehow pulls this off, I will join you in being like, okay, Tampa, they can win the NFC.
Can I tell you something?
I'll join you in
If I pick this tomorrow and tune in 4 o'clock tomorrow for the upset
Alert. First one in 2 weeks.
Don't give me
I'm trying
any
to see
slack.
what's going
You're
on.
like, oh, you're picking Tom Brady versus Mr. I can see it coming down the pipeline.
What?
That you criticize me if I say that
Because
Tom
it'll
Brady.
be Purdy. It's just Purdy.
Yeah.
No,
That's
I
a
wouldn't-
weak pick.
No, I wouldn't criticize you for that. I'd criticize you for having your upset alert be a 3.5-point dog. Back when the upset alert had real prestige, he picked 10-point dogs. That's what he did in America, but then all of a sudden he let letter writing go to his head, he let all of these fancy graphics go to his head, and now he plays it safe.
A lot of sponsors to take
Out here
care
being
of.
like-
not just me. It's
People
a lot
on the
of people I'm
streets.
holding up. Yeah.
Passersby.
Yeah.
So is that going to be the upset alert?
Tune in 4 o'clock tomorrow.
Oh,
You get a front row seat.
I thought you might go Broncos over Chiefs. That's the old school.
I don't know.
That's the old
should
school
Baker
upset alert.
start? There's an upset alert. Baker
Broncos
started.
over Chiefs.
Nine and a half point favorite.
Mad.
I like that.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.